Well, howdy diddly dandy there, chums. It is I, Captain Stephen X, and today, chums, I'm coming at you with some ideas for 2021. I'm hoping that you guys find these completely mind-blowing, so here we go. Ideas for 2021. Heck yes. So firstly, we ended off with 2020 with the story missions, the weekend mission lore. And yet this guy, Ariadne, went missing into the void, disappearamundo, and this is an imposter. Yeah, you're not the real Ariadne. Heck no. Yeah, what do you mean you are the real? You really aren't the real Ariadne. We all know that you aren't the real Ariadne. Thanking you very much. So what I'd like to see is the return of the weekend missions and a conclusion to where the real Ariadne is, and maybe even a rescue mission to go find the real Ariadne, which would be freaking ace. I mean, she disappeared into the void, didn't she? And yeah, we've got void eggs, so we know this is a place we can go to, and some of the Traveller's lore mentions the void and mentions an alternate realm. So it makes you wonder, and also a dark freighter. That's where Ariadne originally went, so it'd be nice to come across this dark freighter, rescue the real Ariadne, yeah, you imposter you, and yeah, complete that mission, because at the moment we haven't quite got that conclusion. So yeah, I'd like to see that happen. And you're probably thinking, well, how can you enter the void? Well, come here, let me show you. So yeah, we've got these things. These are called boundary failures. Now I'm wondering whether you can open up the boundaries through these failures, through these sort of like giant rifts, and get into the actual void. So maybe you can come here. You see that little conveyor belt that looks like it's behind this panel? Maybe you can put a void egg on there. It gets sucked into this machine. Chicka chicka pow, chicka chicka pum pum, and it gets activated. And it opens up almost like how a portal does now. You know, a blue whirly twirly mess. It could be purple, it could be pink, it could be any freaking colour. And maybe you can just fly your ship through there, or just jump up through your backpack. Because we've all got rocket packs. You could fly through that boundary failure and end up in the void. Or maybe you can only go there in your void ship, which gives your void ship a little bit of a reason to have one, because at the moment we don't have many reasons to have a void ship. They're a little bit freaking redundant. I think that's a mind-blowing idea. So being able to enter into the void through a boundary failure, and perhaps that's how we can go and rescue dear old Ariadne. And I'm hoping to see more advanced missions when it comes to the Nexus NPCs. Heck yes, so back to the Nexus. Here we are, back in the Nexus. Thanking you, chums, for that little brief sort of like interlude. We've also got these beams that we picked up during the living ship mission. And when you read this one about the fragmented qualia, it's almost like you can pick up some sort of digital recordings of those that you zap with it. So you know these corrupted travellers that we see by grave markers, perhaps after you've got all the glyphs, perhaps then you can actually suck up souls and learn of the traveller's demise and how they went into the void or something. And we've also got the solar ray, which we don't really use much. And I think it would be nice to be able to use liquid sun to power bases and things. Who knows? But there we go, in like a thermal solar ray thing, I don't know, mind-blown idea. Anyway, I just don't think we've got too many reasons to use those beams after the living ship missions, and I would like to see more ways to use them. Also, basalt on these new volcanic planets. Why the fudge do we need that resource? Yeah, I don't think we need it. But yeah, it'd be nice to have basalt maybe to power machinery at bases. Anyhow, so on the Nexus we've got a lot of NPCs. We've got like Tethys, we've got Mercury, and we've got Hesperus, and we've got Gemini, and they all just sort of stand here and do very little right now, chums. I would like to see backstories for each of these NPCs up on the Nexus, a little bit like we've got the Artemis storyline, perhaps not as involved as the Artemis storyline, but yeah, backstories of how they came to be on here. And also, these two guys are standing by these screens. Now it looks like that's a bounty screen. So perhaps every time you call in the Nexus into a new area of space, perhaps interacting with either Gemini or Hesperus will give you some sort of bounty mission. Maybe Gemini can give you the actual mission, where Hesperus can give you a few clues on where to actually find that bounty, because they might not always be in space. It's not just a hunt pirate mission, heck no. This one you might have to go down, it's a bit like find a missing person, but once you find that missing person, they could be in space, they could be on planet side, they could be anywhere pretty much, and you have to hunt them down like a proper bounty hunt. I think that'd be excellent. Now there is an actual kiosk over here that's got me sort of scratching my head. There are two arrows, distinctly two arrows, yeah, pointing down here, and there seems to be almost two sort of panels on the desk and two different sorts of flags. One is predominantly blue and the other one's predominantly red. It almost looks like a blue team and a red team. I don't know whether it's the setup for guilds. and perhaps there could be 2 different merchants that stand there. Heck, it could be Hesperus and Gemini. Perhaps they could just relocate them there, and they could give us some sort of team sort of exercises to do. So you hook up with 2 different teams, and maybe there's a quest to go and find that bounty the quickest. So a team of 4 and a team of 4, or a team of 2, whatever, and you have to just head on out against each other, time against the clock, or even player versus player. 1 versus 1, in trying to find that sort of bounty in the quickest time. And then you come back up here and you can claim your rewards. Whoever comes first gets the biggest reward, whoever comes second gets a second. And you see all these sort of panels that we've got up here inside of the Nexus. Here you go, let me go into camera mode, I'll show you what I mean. So these sort of like glass sort of banners, if you want to call them that, I think it would be awesome if it showed the most recent photographs of those that inside the Nexus at that current time have taken. So just randomizes photos that they've taken. Perhaps there could be a new NPC up in the center there, and perhaps if your picture actually features as one of the top featured ones, you go talk to that NPC, and perhaps they'll give you some sort of Quicksilver award, which would promote photography. And it'd be a nice little place just to sit down here and watch those photos sort of circulate through and hope that yours pops up. I think that'd be lovely. It promotes stuff anyhow. So there we go. I think that's a lovely idea, that one, to have photos up here, chums. So there we go. That's another one of my ideas. So I think this would make the Nexus a more interactive place. If you've got ideas for the Nexus, please put them in the comments. I'd love to read your ideas for the Nexus integration. Righto, so here I am, calling in my frigate fleet. Now my frigate fleet at the moment, chums, let me just pop into camera mode, looks like a complete mishmash. I mean, look at this. We've got some white and red ones, we've got some yellow ones, we've got green ones, we've got orangey type weird coloured ones, beige ones. It just looks like a freaking circus of ships because they're all not colour matching. Now if you do have a fleet of ships, that's the last thing you want, surely. So it'd be nice if when you go into the frigate list, you could go into here and you can actually recolour your individual frigates. So if you did want to have a mishmash of colours, at least you can select what colours you want them. You might want all of your explorers one colour, whereas all of your combat vessels another colour, just to make them easier to sort of pinpoint out. Or you might want them the full colour scheme of your actual freighter. Maybe they could just be a button somewhere over here, I don't know, to say apply freighter colour palette to frigate colour palette. So that would change all of mine sort of yellow and blue, my current colour match. I think that could work a lot better than the current system that we have now. In fact, there's no real customization when it comes to your frigates, but there is to your actual freighter itself. I mean, each of these could have individual paint jobs. Maybe there could be some Quicksilver decals and things that you can apply to your whole fleet to make it a little bit more individual. I quite like that idea. Righto. The galactic map, chums. The galactic map is freaking awesome. I love the galactic map. But you can see here, I'm 906,000 light years, 100,000 light years from the centre. Let me make that bigger. So there we go. You can see there, the little pigeon over to the right, that I am right at the far reaches of the universe. I am in deep space. Now, rather than follow the Atlas path and go to the centre, I'm thinking if you do go the opposite way, perhaps you can encounter more sentinels and more of a threat. So out here, maybe there could be whole sentinel planets, or sentinel sort of infrastructures, or massive great big sentinel sort of space stations, or even sentinel bosses. Not freighters, I'm on about some sort of giant sentinel kraken in space, which would be cool. But also on planet side, I mean, there is lore to say that the actual Viking pushed the sentinels back to the outer boundaries of space. So on these planets, maybe there could be bipedal sentinels, giant spider-type sentinels, I don't know, just a bigger sentinel threat, and new sentinel types that we haven't seen before, and sentinel hubs, and sentinel bases, and places to raid, and a lot more of a challenge out there. That's what I would like to see, heck yes. So yeah. Also, we've got this new sort of thing that pops up with the Explorers Guild in every single system that you appear in. I mean, this system here is evacuated. It'd be interesting to be able to turn this system around and maybe bring inhabitants back to this system. So perhaps there's a lot more abandoned stuff in here. I mean, I'm in an abandoned station right now that's covered in pus and mucus. Maybe you could do a cleanup exercise in here and use maybe the solar ray to destroy all of this sort of, pus. Maybe you could clean it all up and bring the inhabitants back. But alongside of that, chums, on the galactic map, other than the abandoned systems, you can find uncharted systems where it says says data unavailable. So here we go. Let me just see if I can find one of the systems that I'm on about. Corvax, Viking again, Corvax. Oh, come on. Normally these things pop up almost immediately when you're not looking for them. But there we go. Usually it's a red star. Here we go. Let's get over to that red one. That one. There we go. Data unavailable. This is the sort of thing that I'm on about. So maybe if you could go to these data unavailable areas of space where there's no dominant species, no nothing like that, maybe you can chart these systems of space. So here you go. Let's have a quick look-see. And again, here's the Explorers Guild, and you can see here that there are 5 planets that haven't been found. There's no dominant life form, and there's nothing there as yet. Look, there's no inhabitants, there's no structures, no buildings, or any life on any of the worlds. Okay, when it says there's no life on any of the worlds, there is fauna on the worlds. But yeah, there's no dominant species. There's no sort of archives on here, no outposts, no nothing. Now, perhaps you could use explorer ships and actually scan the planets from up here, and it would come back with, depending on how good your scanners are, a load of discoveries already. Meaning that if you do want to start charting areas of space, the explorer ship would be the best ship to use. But I'll get on to ship perks later. Righto, so here we go. We've got ourselves a Starbulb world. So let me just fly down to a Starbulb world and let's start scanning some of the stuff on this Starbulb world. Wow, this is a beautiful red planet. How cool is this? Right, well, let's fly on down and I'm going to scan some minerals, I'm going to scan some flora, and I'm going to scan some fauna. What the fudge? It's just turned blue. This is a little bit weird. That's never happened before. It was definitely red a second ago. Righto, okay, well, let's jump out of my ship. And it's now gone red. Everything in my field of view seems to be red and everything outside of it seems to be blue. What the fudge? That is so cool. That is really, really cool. I'm loving that. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Let's scan a couple of creatures. Let's scan you. There you go, my little camel cow. It does look like a camel crossed by a cow. Let's scan a birdie-man bird. Frickin' scan you get. Why is it not scanning? Here we go. It's working now. Scan diddly scan. Lovely jubbly. Let's scan a tree. We get that into the old scanneroo. Lovely and jubbly. Chicka-pow, chicka-boom. I'm actually really liking this planet, chums. I'm doing an ideas video, but I think I might want to actually, catalogue this whole planet. It's beautiful. Right, well, I've scanned that rock. Lovely jubbly. You know what, I might actually give you guys the coordinates to this planet, and you can come here and you can investigate it, and because it's freaking ace, isn't it? I'll just scan some of these, but I'm not going to rename them or upload my discoveries. So if you do want to come here, you can. Righto. Let's just scan a couple more bits and bobs just so I can demonstrate this idea properly. Come here, Strider, you. Hold on. There's freaking octopus creatures here as well. They're so cool. I like them. Whoops, I scanned a bush instead, but that doesn't matter. That adds to the idea, which is all good. So let's just scan this little creature here. Chicka-pow-pow, chicka-boom-boom. Lovely and jubbly. Right, well, I think I've probably got enough scanned. There we go. Scanamondo. There we go. We've got a walker there as well. What an amazing, amazing planet this is. This is bizarre. This is really strange. Here you go. I'll give you the coordinates. If you want to come here, you can. There you go. Don't say I don't give you anything. Heck yes. Even in an ideas video, I'm giving stuff away. Fantastamondo. Righto. Well, let's call in my freighter. Let's put the freighter in the sky. So let's just get over here. There we go. Let's just summon it in here. Righto. And freighter. Chicka-pow-pow. Chicka-boom-boom. Right, well, I'm going to fly up onto my freighter and I'm going to show you. So remember, this is a data unavailable sort of system. It's not been charted and there's no dominant life species here. So I'm going to fly up onto my freighter and I'm hoping on the freighter perhaps you could have a new command console. You know, like how you got your frigate rooms and things to actually control your frigates? Well, maybe it could be a frigate room, or maybe there could be some way of interacting with a console down on this center area here. I mean, this one obviously that doesn't do anything apart from ask you where you want to warp to, but perhaps there could be a sub menu. Do you want to warp or do you want to sell the charted data? And then it brings up maybe holographic projectors of the free races. I mean, we've got these free banners right above this station here. You know, there's the free banners, there's this big holographic globe planet. It does make sense to have it here. And perhaps the actual races will appear like this in a holographic format and offer you either nanites, quicksilver, or units. And you can choose to sell it to one of these species and claim that. And then a station will come in. All of the little outposts will appear, large archives, and everything will become populated. And yeah, you can bag yourself a load of units or nanites. So yeah, the Gek, they like minerals. So the more minerals you scan, the more units they're going to offer you. The Viking like fauna. So the more fauna you scan, the more quicksilver they're going to offer. Whereas the Korvax will offer you nanites for all the flora that you've scanned. So yeah, depending on what you scan, would give you a higher yield and a higher offering from each of the 3 different races. So you auction it off, basically, chums, is what I'm thinking. Then a station appears, it becomes charted, and then all the little outposts appear, which I think would be awesome, which would make a lot of sense. And something that doesn't make sense at the moment is these archives. You know, these structures are freaking massive. Yet, coming here, it feels a little bit redundant. There's not a great deal to do at the moment. In fact, some of these actual terminals and the stations up here that some of the NPCs are at look quite unique to the actual archive, but when you interact with them, they're very much standard. I mean, this is brand new. This thing is new. And look at that, it's called Local Information Repository. So, yeah, you're supposed to put something into a repository, and you see this new mission that's appeared. It's actually called Local Information Register. So I was thinking, perhaps if you've managed to get all these numbers to go green, then you come to this little station and you turn in all your discoveries, perhaps it creates better sort of maps. Perhaps it could give you something in return as a sort of prize. Maybe it could give you 5 chests that you can place on the planet, and then people can come here and buy the maps to your chests, like a little player-inspired treasure hunt. And inside of your chest you can place an item, you know, like a stasis device or some activated idiom or some tainted metal for people. So yeah, it's a little bit of a giveaway, a little bit of a treasure hunt that you can put on your homeworlds, which would be ace. Now this guy here, he just sells stuff, just like anybody inside one of the little trading posts. But look at the screens behind him, chums. So it looks like there's some sort of bounty going on, a locations on planets for bounties, and also it looks like a freighter being raided down there. So it'd be really cool if you could actually pick up missions to either raid freighters or hunt bounties on planet surfaces, to hunt down pirates perhaps inside of exocrafts. But right now, it's just buy stuff. And that doesn't look like he's selling things. It does look like it's some sort of combat related sort of on planet side or freighter raiding. And then you've got these here, chums. And once you've interacted with them once, you can't interact with them again. It's freaking weird. I have no idea why this is so foobarred up. It'd be awesome to run different missions. It's like you see this giant sort of archive at the back here for text. I mean, there's a freaking robotic hand that's going up and down this left-hand side here, accessing different vaults for information. Well, imagine if these were different sort of missions that you could pick up to unlock different lore. That'd be ace. But right now, you only get sort of one story from this massive, great big machine. It just feels overkill. You've got all these sort of vaults for just, you know, a couple of reams of dialogue. It'd be nice if you could get different missions and get different dialogues from the missions that you run here. So you really need to only find one of these giant archives, but you can run multiple missions from it. I mean, mind-blowing idea, I know, but it just feels overly... You know what I mean? Heck yes. It'd be so cool to have all different missions that you could run from there. And then you've got this guy down here, which is a guild guy. Perhaps you could tie some of the lore to some of the guild quests that you could pick up from here. So this is like, I think the actual archive should be like a guild mission board, and then you come down here to pick up your rewards from this guild envoy after you've done one of those missions up in the archive. I know, right? It's how cool would that be? To just pick up a load of extra bits and bobs and prizes. I mean, at the moment, this guy gives you fudge all. So it's like, okay, right. So yeah, I just think that'd be a freaking mind-blowing idea to tie it all together. Please, give us guild missions. That'd be excellent. And they can tie all these guild envoys together. Mind-blowing, huh? Yeah, I just feel that at the moment, there's so many different placeholders inside of No Man's Sky. I mean... It's even like over here by the landing pads, chums. I mean, take a look at this. You've got this giant machine here that looks like it could bring in some sort of blueprints. It's even got antennas on the top of it. And then once a ship lands, this little console sprouts out of the ground. And it's unlike any other landing terminal that we've got out here. And right by these landing pads, chums, there's a freaking crane to the right-hand side. Look, there's a bloody crane there. Let me just go into camera mode so I can show you it a bit better. Look, it's got a little freaking grabber on the end and everything. Why not make this the place that you come to actually customize your ships so you can swap parts out? So yeah, you've got the actual crane here to do all the swapping out. You've got the console for the user to interact with. And you've even got this here as some eye candy to make it believable that it's bringing down blueprints of all the ships that you've found, scanned or scrapped inside of the universe. So yeah, perhaps you have to own the ship, scrap the ship to get the parts to build a ship, and then you have to find an archive to build the ship at, rather than just being able to do it in a station or something. I think that'd be freaking awesome. Mind-blowing. And I'll put a link at the top right now, chums, to my ship scrapping and ship customization idea. And another thing with ships, chums, at the moment it doesn't feel like you need to have different ship classes for any sort of reason. I mean, here I've got a hauler. Why not be able to pick up ship-related missions to do with your ship class and your ship type? So haulers, perhaps it could have like some sort of contraband storage, and maybe you have to run things from A to B. You live in ships, for example, maybe it can open up areas to the void. Perhaps you can fly through boundary failures with a living ship, or it registers that you're in a living ship and a boundary failure would just activate anyway. I mean, these living ships are supposed to be able to sing. Perhaps vibration opens up the boundary failures. The explorer ships, perhaps that could tie into my whole scanning of planets idea. Perhaps explorers could have a different scanner module that lets you scan planets from space rather than having to land and explore on foot. You've got the actual exotic ships here. Perhaps they don't break when they go through black holes, so you can chart black holes better, and maybe it actually calculates the entry points and exit points of black holes and gives you some sort of extra coordinates on the galactic map for black hole navigation. Fighters, I mean, if they do up all the bounties that I was on about before, perhaps they could have better bounty scanners to actually pinpoint where the actual pirates or the bounties are located. Now, I haven't got myself a shuttle at the moment, chums. Pretend this is a shuttle. So yeah, perhaps shuttles, you could have the ability to scrap ships from a module inside of your actual shuttle. Because at the moment I can't scrap ships because I've got a full ensemble of ships. But yeah, maybe maybe shuttles could have mobile scrapping units inside of their ships, which makes a heck of a lot of sense. Now, the living ships at the moment, chums, are the most redundant of ship classes, mainly because you can't do anything to up their actual storage capacity or their actual technology capacity, so their stats are kind of stuck. Once you've upgraded them as far as you can't max them any further, and I'm not seeing people really use the living ships because they don't have as much technology or weaponry. They don't have something like a positron ejector or any unique weapons for the living ship. I would like to see that expanded on. Heck yes, I would. Yeah, so there we go. So you're probably noticing a bit of a trend with these ideas, chums, is it's just building on foundational elements of what's already in game. Hello Games have put all this gnarly stuff in, but it feels like a stepping stone. It feels like it's unfleshed out, and it feels like so much more could be put into what we currently have in the iteration. So for 2021, I would like to see Hello Games build on the foundations of what we have in game at the moment. It's like these abandoned stations are so gnarly and so cool. It'd be nice if you could actually repair these, do them up, maybe using the solar ray to get rid of all the pus, and maybe you could own your own space station. Just a mini one like this with hardly any NPCs in and stuff, and actually claim a system as your own. But also, these doors, chums, that you find, these level 3 Atlas Pass doors that you find, there's nothing in here worth having, chums. There really isn't. They're freaking empty. They're threadbare. And, you know, the level 3 Atlas Pass, you get that through going through manufacturing facilities. You don't get it early game. Heck no. But then there's nothing in here that helps you for later game. I think in here, chums, there should be some sort of thing that the Atlas grants you. I don't know, X-class modules or some sort of, maybe more words from the languages of each of the different races, or even Atlas words or something, or some sort of puzzle that gives you some sort of lore of the actual Atlas and how it came to be in the state that it is, or how it became corrupted. I mean, come on, there's nothing in here. There is nothing in here worth having. A bit of carbon, maybe the navigational data if you're lucky, but nothing else worth having behind these level 3 Atlas doors. So yeah, there we are. They're all my ideas, chums, that I've got so far. I mean, you can see here, there's all pus in here, but that Atlas room was completely clean. So it's like the Atlas has freaking protected it. I mean, what the fudge? Why? So anyway, they're all my ideas, chums, and I hope you've enjoyed all my ideas. Yeah, heck yes, my ideas. And I'm hoping you guys out there have got your own ideas. Please add them into the comments. And yeah, hopefully, I send this over to ZenDesk and Hello Games might see it and pick up on some of them. We can only but hope. Anyway, I'll see you all guys soon. So goodbye, and goodbye again. I want to say a massive great big thank you for watching. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. And thank you to my backers over on Patreon and on YouTube membership. If you do want to support this channel, you could just not skip my adverts. That throws revenue down my avenue. Or stay with CaptainSteve a little bit longer and hit something on this screen. Heck yes, and there's also merch on this screen now. Awesome!